Hi and welcome to Malt and Fiction. Today I'm going to be reviewing a beer from Old Potter's Brewhouse in Greyton, and this beer is the Matte Black Porter. Now this is a beer that caught my eye recently while I was shopping in the bottle store, because although I've had a few Old Potter's Brewhouse beers before, I've never seen this one before, which had an interesting handwritten label, which I found really intriguing. Also it's a porter, which is a style that I really like. All of my previous experiences with Old Potter's Brewhouse have been really positive, so I'm really looking forward to trying this beer. So let's open the bottle and take a look. Now one of the first things that actually attracted me to this beer was the name, Matte Black, obviously Matt being my name. And Matte Black is actually a nickname that some of my friends call me because I work on steam locomotives and have a tendency to get covered from head to toe in black dirt. So there's kind of a little nice personal connection to this beer for me. Now let's take the top off and pour it out into the glass. Okay. Nice and dark as it should be. So I've got just under a finger of head there, sort of light tan head. As I hold it up to the light there, I can just see through it. See it's a little bit of a red tinge to it. But yeah, really nice looking beer. It looks as I'd expect a porter to look, which is always good. When you pour one of these dark beers out, that sort of, the visual of the dark beer is always really nice to look at. Right, so it's a fairly typical porter nose straight away. Hints of dark chocolate. Coffee, those sort of nice coffee notes in there. Give it a bit of a swirl. Yeah, certainly dark chocolate and coffee are the overwhelming things there. It's not the most bold nose I've ever smelt on a porter before, but it's quite nice, restrained, giving me all the sort of notes that I'm looking for typically in a porter. I'm enjoying the way the lacing is clinging to the side of the glass there. Well, I guess the next step is to taste it. Well, one of the first things I'm noticing as I'm sipping there is it's got quite a dry feeling, leaves the inside of the mouth feeling slightly dry. The dark chocolate notes coming through there in the flavour. It's fairly bitter, it's got a nice sort of solid bitterness to it. In terms of mouthfeel, it's not very thick. It's a fairly thin mouthfeel compared to some other porters that I've tasted. I expected a little bit more sweetness from the malts perhaps, but I'm enjoying the overall character of the beer. It's very enjoyable on a cool evening like this. We're sort of at the beginning of spring now, but still a bit of a chill in the air here in Cape Town, and this is a nice beer to drink at this time of year. Of course, I'm not one that necessarily thinks that dark beers are only to be drunk in winter. I enjoy stouts and porters in the warmer times of the year as well. But certainly at this time of the year, with the colder months, winter, autumn, even spring, are really when this type of beer come into its own. I'm picking up a bit of that maltiness. That's sort of like dark chocolate, maybe a slight caramel, a bit of coffee. That maltiness is starting to come through a bit. Maybe it's as the beer warms up, some of those notes are starting to appear. And the flavour is becoming a bit more rounded, which I'm enjoying here. So in terms of rating this beer, I think it's pretty solid all round in terms of aroma, flavour, finish. It looks really nice. So I'm going to have to give it at least a 3.5. So I've enjoyed this beer. Nice to see the guys at Old Potter's Brewhouse putting out a porter, doing something a bit different. Even putting it out with a handwritten label, I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of stood out to me on the shelf. And an enjoyable beer. Now I've actually just received a new book which has come in the post, which has just been released, and it's by John le Carre. This is A Legacy of Spies, and it's his latest novel. I'm really excited to read this. It revisits characters from some of his early books like The Spy Who Came In From the Cold and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which are two of my favourite novels of all time, and I'm really looking forward to read this. It should be a good read. I'm hearing great things about it, and I think it would go nicely with a glass of Old Potter's Brewhouse Matte Black Porter. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be bringing out a load of beer reviews over the coming weeks. Also come check me out on Twitter, and if you're on Untappd, it would be great to connect with you there. And until next time, cheers.